You recently signed a budget cut for billions in education funding. You pushed for greater cuts that were in the budget that the legislature passed.
Well, if you ask at least one House Democrat, he's trying to make restoring the more than $5 billion cut in public education funds last time around an emergency item this time around.
We could restore pre-K education for $200 million. We can provide money for STEM classes, technology classes, at-risk programs. I think all in all, we could probably spend about $700 million and repair a lot of cuts. We can restore every single grant that was cut in the legislative session.
Kids can't wait. Kids can't wait. Kids can't wait.
The Obama administration today challenged voting laws it says discriminate on the basis of race. Attorney General Eric Holder made the announcement in Philadelphia, pledging to focus first on Texas.
You cannot ignore the obvious, and the obvious is it is dynamic minority growth in this state, not just Latino, but minority overall. 89% of the growth in the last decade that gave us 4 million new Texans was minority growth. But yet minorities did not receive additional seats in Congress. And so the court said you cannot ignore this growth.
Literally 2 hours after the court's ruling, Texas officials said they would begin enforcing a new voter ID requirement, even though a federal court had previously struck down the law because it, quote, imposes strict, unforgiving burdens on the poor and racial minorities in Texas.
You know, when I think of how hard we have worked to get you elected, never did I imagine that you were going to still be in this war. Because you are in a war. It's a war that you have been fighting for months and months and months.
In the wake of the Shelby County decision, it's refreshing to learn that both Section 2 and Section 3 of the Voting Rights Act will be strictly and vigorously applied by the DOJ, and Texas will probably be ground zero because there is litigation happening right now, and there are live pleadings that discuss both Section 2 implications as well as Section 3.
Expanding Medicaid will worsen the health care options for the most vulnerable among us in Texas.
It's like a drug dealer. You give them your first hit free, and then they're hooked for years and years.
So far, the state has said no to a move some say could give 1.5 million more low-income people health insurance.
We hear about sideshows, we hear about drug testing, we hear about skin in the game, but we have not heard anything other than no.
The world is changing. We have a predominantly Hispanic and African-American population and Asian population in the state. You guys need to come on and join in with us.